Okay, so Foamstars. This is a game that caught my attention last year at one of Sony's PlayStation State of Play events. The reveal trailer was really cool. The opening shot of the dark city, the neon lit Square Enix sign, the characters walking out in a fog covered area. The mood of it all sets a certain expectation. Then, all of a sudden, the fog lifts and the city bursts with life, lights, and music. Then these distinct looking characters start shooting foam at each other from their equally distinct guns. The sudden change in tone was a little surprising, but I was all in. I found myself bopping along to the music while the characters kept fighting each other. Then the trailer makes a switch from CG to actual gameplay, and it is here where my interest faltered just a little. Despite the colorful nature of what I was seeing, it looked a little muddy to me. I just chalked it up to the video quality because the actual gameplay did look like a lot of fun. The announcement was my favorite out of the entire State of Play showcase. After that initial showing, I paid attention to every trailer, and I was happy to see that the game looked a lot better and better with each new trailer. I am always on the hunt for new and exciting PvP games, and this one seemed like it could be one I would be playing for quite some time. Fast forward to the release of the game on February 6th. I downloaded it and booted it up, excited for what awaited me. After some time with the game, I have formed my opinion. This video was supposed to be just a review, but things have changed because I have sat on it for so long. So now, this video will be my thoughts on the game for the first half, and my thoughts on the state of the game for the second half. There will be timestamps so you can jump around if you want to. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Foamstars is developed by Toy Logic and published by Square Enix. Now, let's start off by talking about the setting of the game. Foamstars is set in Bad Vegas, a fictional version of America's Las Vegas, in case that wasn't clear enough. Bad Vegas does a good job of capturing Las Vegas's energy and interpreting it in its own way. The bright lights, flamboyant architecture, the glitziness, Bad Vegas has it all. I really dig the entire aesthetic of the game and the vibe it gives off. It pairs well with the overall essence of the game. Now, let's talk about Foamstars' version of a campaign, which I didn't know the game had, and to be honest, I wish it didn't. The story is set up by a short movie, setting the scene. Bubble beasties have taken over the city. Yeah, they look and sound adorable. However, they are anything but. The leader, Dark Ramsey, has declared war on Bad Vegas and is hell-bent on destroying the city's energy cores. It is up to the Foamstars to defend the energy cores and save the city. It's a silly premise, I know, but it has the potential to be the catalyst for some really well done and interesting missions, filled with unique enemies to fight and objectives to complete. So, does the game do this? No. No, it doesn't. Instead, what we get are some of the most boring, repetitive missions I have ever done in a video game. Let's break it down. After the cutscene, you are sent to a lobby where you can choose between Foamstar missions and squad missions. Let's start with Foamstar missions. You select one of the different characters available. I thought, okay, so each character gets their own tailor-made missions, right? Well, no, not exactly. No matter which character you choose, you are subjected to the same missions. All you do is just shoot wave after wave after wave of bubble beasties while protecting an energy core. If the beasties get close to the core, they explode, dealing damage to the core. At the end of the waves, you fight the only boss in these missions, and this boss is repeated between all the characters. The only thing different between the characters is some dialogue during the missions, as well as a still image cutscene at the end of some of the missions, both things giving you more insight to your Foamstar. These missions do shine some light on the Foamstars, giving them more of a background and making them their own person instead of just cardboard people. However, this isn't a good enough reason to play these missions. Now, I mentioned before that there were squad missions. Now, you would think, okay, Seeing as it's a squad now, the missions will be different, right? Wrong. You queue up into a mission with up to 4 people in total and do the exact same thing that you do in regular missions, minus the dialogue and cutscenes. It would have been cool to at least have dialogue between the stars, showing us the relationships with each other. But Toy Logic couldn't even be bothered to do the bare minimum to make these missions at least a little bit enjoyable. There are much better games with wave-based missions to play, so I suggest going to play those instead of playing this. Let's swiftly move on to the multiplayer, which is what I thought this game was only going to have. Let me just say this. The multiplayer is much better than the Foamstar missions, but that does not mean it's perfect. So, let's talk about it. Foamstars, at its core, is a PvP shooter. Players choose from a wide range of characters, or Foamstars, each with their own unique weapons and abilities, akin to something like Overwatch. The game launched with 7 free characters, with more characters needing to be unlocked with a battle pass or a purchase on the store. The characters are Soa, Agito, Tonix, Jet's Justice, Penny Gwyn, Ravebreaker, the Baristador, and the first unlockable character Mel T, with more to come. Each character also has their unique style to them, which shows up in things like their idle animations, which is a neat little touch. The game launched with 3 main game modes: Smash the Star, Rubber Duck Party, and Happy Bath Survival. Smash the Star is positioned as Foamstar's main game mode. Smash the Star is 4v4. Each team collectively has 7 lives. Players need to eliminate each other to get the other team's lives to 0. Once that has happened, a player on that team is randomly chosen as the star player. When this happens, the opposing team has to eliminate the star player in order to win the match. These matches can range anywhere from 4 minutes to 6 or 7 minutes. This is a good turnover time because it allows players to get into the next match very quickly. While talking about Smash the Star, let's use this opportunity to talk about the mechanics of the game. As mentioned before, each character has their own weapon and abilities. 2 tactical abilities and 1 ultimate ability, all of which recharge over time. Let's use Soa as a case study, who the game positions as the face of the game, even using her as the only character for the tutorial. Soa has 2 identical guns in each hand, which fire rapid bubbles like mini Uzis. These weapons work best close range. Her first tactical ability is called Bubble Step, which causes her to do a cool flip, releasing bubbles in a straight line. Her second tactical is Spiky Beat, which is a throwable explosive like a grenade. Her ultimate ability is Gotta Crush, which envelops Soa in a large spiky bubble, enabling her to roll around the map to, well, crush her enemies. Let's talk about the other main mechanics of the game. The main way players eliminate other players is to chill them, which requires shooting them so much that they turn into a ball of foam. Upon doing this, players need to surf into them to eliminate them and get the kill. The way players get around the map quickly is to foam up the floor with the team's own colored bubbles. Upon doing this, they can surf with, well, a surfboard to quickly move across the map. I really enjoyed the surfing mechanic. I often just did this for fun, sometimes forgetting I'm in the middle of a deathmatch. This mechanic is much like the movement mechanic of Splatoon, the game Foamstars is often compared to. There are some merits to these comparisons, but I think Foamstars does enough to set itself apart from Splatoon, with the character system and the elimination system, just to name a few. I really like the core gameplay of Foamstars. It is fun, frenetic, and extremely colorful. Some people may find the bright colors a little too distracting and the screen too full of effects, which can be a negative for the game. Now, let's get back to Smash the Star and other game modes. Smash the Star is a cool and different take from the usual team deathmatch we see in many other PvP games. Being the star player gave me so much anxiety that I would just try to surf to a place of the map where the other team couldn't find me. On the other hand, hunting down the star player can just turn into pure chaos, with everyone unleashing their abilities to kill the other players defending the star player. One negative is that sometimes it isn't clear who the star player is, due to all the clutter that can be seen on the screen at one time. Next, let's talk about Rubber Duck Party. This game mode is another different take on escort missions you find in other PvP games. Because of the nature of the game mode, matches last longer than the other two game modes. There is a large dock in the middle of the map. Players must venture to it, capture it, and escort it to the other team's base to win. There's a cool mechanic attached to it though. If you get on top of the dock and successfully perform a dance, the dock will speed up for a little while. This is a good game mode for people who want a more tactical and methodic experience. This mode, however, really does require teamwork and communication more than the other modes. Without that, victory becomes much harder to achieve. This can lead to frustrating matches where your team is so disorganized that you get completely destroyed by the other team. The opposite can also happen though. The last multiplayer mode is Happy Bath Survival. So, it's 4v4 like the other game modes, but there's a catch. Only 2 players from each other fight at one time. The goal is to chill the other 2 players to win the round. But here's the catch. The other 2 players are on platforms above the ground using different guns than their own to slow down the other team's players. Not gonna lie, it took a few games for me to get the hang of this one. I thought Smash the Star matches were quick. Happy Bath Survival matches literally flash by in the blink of an eye. To be honest, this was my least favorite of the 3 game modes. It's not terrible, but it's not particularly fun either, at least for me. The concept of aiding your teammates by inconveniencing the other team is cool, but I felt as if my gun, which was different from the character's bespoke weapon, really didn't do much. When I was on the receiving end, the effects of the enemy team shooting me from above just felt inconsequential. Let's wrap up my thoughts on the game. Foamstars is a mishmash of different ideas, some which pay off and some which miss the mark completely. The campaign component, without being too harsh, is a joke. It is not worth engaging with at all. The multiplayer is what people are going to be getting Foamstars for. Its 3 game modes are great, but they're just too few for a multiplayer game. The same can be said for the maps, tailored to each game mode. The maps are great, but in my personal opinion, I felt that they all blended into each other and lacked distinct features to make them stand out from one another. The Foamstars are fun and unique to play with, and I enjoyed my time playing many of them. So, should you try Foamstars? Well, Foamstars is currently only available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on the PS Plus service. If you already have PS Plus, check the game out. It is of no extra cost to you. If you do not have PS Plus, however, I do not think getting PS Plus solely for this game, which I did, is at least for now, not really worth it. Now, let's talk about the current state of Foamstars. Foamstars, as of the time of publication of the video, is not in a good place. At all. The game has lost 95% of its player base since launch. This is really bad, considering the game came out early February. The initial critic reviews were not super great either. Seeing as this is a live service game meant to last for a long period of time, this is worrying for both ToyLogic and Square Enix. So, what went wrong? Well, let's discuss, in my opinion, the reasons why the game isn't doing so well. First, let us address the elephant in the room, Splatoon. As I mentioned earlier, people have been comparing this game to Nintendo's exclusive PvP shooter IP, Splatoon, which has seen 3 games now. People dismissed Foamstars as soon as it was revealed, dubbing it as nothing more than a Splatoon clone. Splatoon is a very successful franchise for Nintendo. I mean, if it wasn't, they wouldn't have made 3 of them. It is clear to see Splatoon's influence on Foamstars, no matter how much the developers vehemently claim otherwise. Look, it is no shame to admit your inspirations, but the way ToyLogic tries so hard to distance itself from Splatoon can come off as disrespectful, which I know has put off some content creators from even touching the game. So, people have simply been asking themselves this question. If Splatoon exists, why play a shallow clone? And that is a serious problem for Foamstars. Another reason for Foamstars' poor performance is one that might seem minuscule, but I think is part of a larger issue, and that is ToyLogic's use of AI, or artificial intelligence, in the game. ToyLogic has admitted to using AI in the game. I saw many people review bomb the game simply because the game uses AI. These people didn't even touch the game, but they are so opposed to AI that they felt the need to leave a negative review of the game. The discourse around the use of AI in games is such a large and controversial topic that this video is not the place to discuss it. But it's safe to say that a large portion of the gaming audience despises AI for one reason or another, and the use of it in your games can be a death sentence, especially if this is a new IP. Kosuke Okatani, a producer on the game, knows that this is controversial, so to try and limit damages, he claimed that the AI generated art for the game accounts for 0.01% of the game's art. This may seem like a small and inconsequential number, but for some people, this is more than enough to throw the game in the trash. The next reason is the monetization. Oh my goodness, the monetization. It is egregious and downright criminal. The prices I'm showing are in South African rands, but I implore you to check the prices in your region. And I think you'll agree with me when I say that these prices are, to put it mildly, not worth it at all. You can get so many games during a sale on any platform for the price of a single cosmetic bundle in this game. Look, the game is free to play, so it only makes sense that there are microtransactions in the game. The developers need to keep the lights on in the studio and put food on the table for their families. I get that. However, there are other free-to-play games that do monetization right, and Foamstars, right now, is not one of those games. People might defend this and say, well, it's only cosmetic, you don't need to buy them. Which may be true, but everyone wants to make their characters look cool, and people do genuinely want to support the studio and the game, but they can't do that if prices are ridiculously high. There are people who detest microtransactions and will stay away from the game on principle because of them. If Toy Logic and Square Enix want Foamstars to be more popular, I highly suggest they address this issue before it's too late. The last reason I want to talk about is just the current state and environment of live service games. Live service, or games as a service, whichever term you prefer, were, at one time, a novel idea. Now, however, there are so many live service games that people have become very disillusioned to them. You have games like Destiny 2, Call of Duty, Fortnite, PUBG, League of Legends, every MMO that is currently running, and so many more games, just to name a few, which are dominating the market. There are many more that exist, and a lot of them some people either don't know about or have completely forgotten about entirely. Needless to say, this is a very competitive market. People nowadays don't really have a lot of time to play games due to work or school or other commitments or reasons. So they pick and choose one or two live service games and stay committed to them. The live service market can be detrimental to studios, and developers are starting to notice. About 70% of developers show some level of caution about the current state of live service business models. Gamers are also losing interest in live service games. This could be due to just how many live service games there are on the market, the overly monetized nature of them, and many other reasons. When you commit to a live service game, you're pretty much committing to playing that game for its entire lifespan, or unless you get sick of it, whichever one comes first. People have put too many hours into these games that abandoning them and moving to another one is not really an option. Herein lies the problem for Foamstars, and pretty much any new live service game these days. They really have to compete with the titans of the industry, and to be honest, a lot of them have no chance. They really need to be special and do things that the other games don't in order to make people notice. And unfortunately, Foamstars is not one of those games, at least in its current state. One more factor that I think hampered Foamstars' performance is its exclusivity. Foamstars is currently available only on PS5 and PS4 consoles. In my opinion, I think exclusivity for a live service game is not good for the game at all. This limits the player base to a small collection of people. For a live service game, you want to have as many people as possible playing your game. I'm sure Sony paid Square Enix a lot of money to have Foamstars exclusive to their ecosystem. But I think ultimately, this was a bad move from Square Enix, a company that is infamous for caring about nothing but the bottom line when it comes to sales and revenue. I'm sure due to their contract with Sony, it's going to be difficult to port the game to other platforms. I'm not sure if this deal is a limited time exclusive or not. If it's not a limited time exclusive, then I really fear for the future of this game. So, what now? Well, as of the time of publication of this video, TriLogic are still working hard on the game, putting out new content and characters. For now, it seems that TriLogic and Square Enix both have faith in this game, and that is a good thing. I, however, am not quite certain. I want this game to succeed, but I can't help feeling that we will be seeing a blog post announcing the retirement of the game in the near future.
Ready for the Foamstar party?
Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content. Please help us reach 100 subscribers. There will be a special video once we hit that milestone. Have you played Foamstars or have an opinion on the game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. That is it from me. I will see you all in the next video. This is Kid Kojo, signing out.